information which could have caused a catastrophe for national security. That is a massive problem, whereas 40,000 people coming to our shores without us knowing who they are, where they've come from, what their intentions are, that's nothing. That's anything to do with, of course, national security. That's all fine. Absolutely fine. Let's talk to Brendan Clarke-Smith, Conservative MP for Bassett Law, to find out why it is now that words, apparently, are more dangerous than what's actually happening. Brendan, a very good morning to you.
Morning, Mike. Thanks for having me on today.
Not at all. Thanks for joining us. I mean, it seems extraordinary to me that we now have politicians who are more offended by somebody's words than they are by what is clearly an illegal act which is going on a daily basis on the shores of this country. What do you make of it?
Well, it is getting ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, before then it was talking about emails. Now it's people haven't used the correct language and so on. And, I thought the Home Secretary did really, really well yesterday. She was nearly 2 hours answering questions to people. And as you say, people are sick and tired of this. This is 40,000 people in a year now. This prevents us actually supporting people who are genuine refugees. We have people in our own communities struggling with housing or for doctors and so on, and they're sick and tired of people basically abusing the system, Mike.
Yeah, because that's what's going on here. And also, as Brendan Chilton just said to us, what on earth are Labour doing saying that these people should continue to come, risking their lives, paying money to known human traffickers, sort of facilitating the richness of a criminal enterprise? I mean, there's nothing good about what's happening here.
Well, exactly. It's people smuggling. It's a criminal enterprise, and we do have routes available to people, and we don't want to see people jump in the queue. And as we've said, really, I mean, we've seen the hotel bill. Well, that's costing 5 or 6 million each time as well, and people just think it's unreasonable. They want to see us do something about it. We've tried deporting foreign criminals, and we've got people trying to drag them off the plane. We've tried the Rwanda Scheme. We've had people trying to frustrate that. We've then got so-called charities, activist lawyers jumping in, trying to make money out of it, and everything we've done along the way, Mike, people have tried to oppose. They then wonder why these camps are full, why there's a problem, why it's suddenly costing us a lot of money. Well, that's why.
Well, exactly right. And there's always, with these situations, there's a lot of money to be made. I mean, Serco, for example, one of the companies involved, has got billions and billions of pounds pouring into its coffers of government money, i.e. taxpayers' money, which they then give to hotel owners, they give to private landlords. You know, this is a racket, it seems to me.
Yeah, and I think the biggest issue is, I mean, you want to process these claims, and we want to be able to, when we've actually rejected a claim, for people to be sent back. And you'll have heard yesterday a lot of talk of this. You know, they're not women and children. There's large numbers of men from countries like Albania, safe countries, not war-torn at all. They've come through France, and they're still here after extended periods of time, and we're being forced at the taxpayers' expense to put them in hotels and so on, and people are jumping over this definition now because the Home Secretary's used the word invasion. So, I mean, I'm going to, I'll read the dictionary definition of this, Mike, if you don't mind. And okay, people know the one about a country being invaded with an armed force, and okay, we're not talking the Spanish Armada exactly, but let's look at the other definitions. An incursion by a large number of people or things into a place or sphere of activity. And another definition is an unwelcome intrusion into another's domain. Now, I don't see what's wrong with that. I think that's a correct terminology to use there. I think it's been perfectly reasonable how it's been explained. I think we've said about all the good things that we've done. We gave Ukraine as an example, Syria, Afghanistan. We're a welcoming country, and we've been very good with that. We're just sick of people who are jumping the queue. And, you know, we're talking immigration-wise, sort of, it's on the Holly and Phil subject almost. You know, people are taking the mickey out of our system, Mike. And
well,
Home Secretary wants to stop this.
And not only that, she's right to say that the system is broken. I'm not sure that you can, with any great, assuredness, say that it was the Tory party that broke it. It's the sheer numbers of people, and I think the outdated laws, because the laws were written for asylum seekers many, many decades ago when there wasn't this kind of movement of people, wasn't it?
Exactly, and like ECHR and things like that, you look at the principles of it, and when we actually signed up to that, and the world was a very different place at the time, and a lot of countries have very different rules. We spoke about modern slavery, which is something that we've done a huge amount of work on. Other countries haven't necessarily, and people are abusing those laws, and people are abusing the things that we've done to help genuine refugees, and that's what people are really annoyed at, Mike. No one's saying that they're against all immigration. No one's saying that they're against all asylum seekers. figures, but there's clearly something wrong when you've got 40,000 people coming, and they're mainly young males from safe countries.
Yeah, and they know that if they can get their feet onto the land, they will never leave, because at the moment there is absolutely no prospect of them getting processed inside a period of about 5 to 6 years, and even if they are, they'll find a lawyer who will tell them exactly how they can stay here by making a narrative up about they're going to be tortured when they get home.
Exactly, and this is why things such as the Nationality and Borders Act, where people can't do endless appeals all the time, they've got to actually, you get one appeal, you do it straight away, you don't suddenly come up with magical new reasons. And the Rwanda scheme, you know, says as soon as you get even one person on that plane, Mike, that sends a message to people, and they'll think, you know what, I have a fairly good life in France or Germany or wherever it is, I'm not going to take the risk. And that's the message we want to get there. But at every point, we've had people opposing it, people trying to stop it. We've now got people trying to get rid of a Home Secretary because she is actually speaking up and really saying what my constituents want to hear. I think the most ridiculous thing this morning is that the latest myth being put out that you know, they're trying to stop people being housed in Conservative MPs' constituencies. Now, OK, people want to peddle that myth. You know, I can put that on my leaflet. That's me re-elected. You know, my constituents will be very pleased with that. You know, you'll let Brent, we won't have any illegal immigrants in there.
Exactly. But that's the other thing. I mean, you know, this has been a story that we've been covering for many years here at Talk TV and Talk Radio. And the governments previously didn't seem to want to take it seriously. It's almost as though they were thinking it might all go away and somehow it would just stop. But it hasn't stopped, and instead it's got worse. And I think the Conservative government does need to take some pasting for not dealing with this thing sooner. I'm very happy that Suella Braverman wants to do it now. But we haven't actually done much up until now, and I know it's been stymied by an awful lot of things, including the lawyers and all of that. But, for example, Germany and Sweden now are not accepting any applications for asylum from Albania. Why can't we do that?
Yeah, I mean, I used to live in Sweden, Mike, and they've had some severe problems with immigration there for a number of years. So, you know, I won't pretend it's only this country that has this problem. I mean, we do have this problem Europe-wide. We've tried to basically get rid of all this Blair-era legislation. It takes a long time to do it. It's not something you can just click your finger with. Sadly, it's got to go through the Lords. We've put stuff in manifestos as well, and we've got a lot of battles ahead. But at least we're going in the right direction with it. I think Priti Patel laid a lot of the groundwork for this. But you look at what she was up against. She had problems with the civil service. She had problems in the Commons with people. She had problems in the Lords as well, and of course various sections of the media. But the groundwork's there. Suella Braverman's trying to take that on as well. You can see how much she's being attacked. You know, there are people who really do not want us to succeed with this, but I'm confident she's the right person for the job. She's going to see it through, and we'll actually turn a corner with this and get those numbers down.
Well, let's hope so. I've got some breaking news I want to give you, Brendan. This may not be something you were expecting me to ask you about, but I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here starts soon. They've got a new inmate in Australia who's just been revealed. Do you know who it is?
I have suspicions it's a former health secretary.
Matt Hancock. I mean, come on.
Well, I mean, while he's over there, he can say hello to one of my councillors from Bassetlaw who's currently living over there. You know, perhaps if ask him to come back and do a bit of work could be nice. But, yeah, Nadine Dorries, obviously, she's been on television. She won with that, so we have a very good track record, I think, with Conservative MPs. So, you know, obviously, best of luck to him with that. But obviously, we've got problems.
Now, there's always this question when it comes to MPs doing stuff like this. I mean, presumably he'll still be in receipt of his MP salary while he's over there. Should he not donate that somewhere?
Well, I mean, that's up to them. I mean, I suppose that does happen. MPs do other things outside of the work, and I'm sure, you know, they continue working for the constituents and whatever else there is as well.
Don't come off it. How's he working for his constituents while he's in the jungle?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't have time to be going and doing these things, and I've got sort of a newborn at home and family, and I've got a lot of work to do now, returning to the back benches and so on as well. But yeah, not for me to say, Mike. But I'll see more details about what people plan to do and
all
things.
Right.
But,
okay, I'll let you off just this once. Brendan Clarke-Smith, thank you very much indeed, Conservative MP for Bassetlaw. Matt Hancock's going into the jungle.